Two familiar teams coming together to play a 50 over series. India versus Sri Lanka. We are going to preview that here at Time Out with Sports Adda. Hello, Arun. Welcome. A long time. We are going to be speaking about India match. India is going to play a 50 over series against their very dear opponents that they know pretty well, India, Sri Lanka.
I'll come to India, Sri Lanka in a bit, but are we sure we want to call this India, not India A, India B, India Z? A certain Mr. Arjuna Ranatunga said he's not too happy with the fact that India is sending a B team. But yeah, India, Sri Lanka it is.
Yeah, so I have a very interesting take on that, Arun, and I can go on for long and long on that. See the old cricketers who played there, who have had their time in the game, they need to realize the game is going to evolve commercially. They can't be living in the fact that there will be only one kind of format or one kind of series that will keep evolving. I think what we are going to see now next 8 to 10 months is going to be very important for the commercial aspect of cricket. uh, Two Indian teams, it is a fantastic idea. I think there is merit for having a third Indian team also, Arun, who can go and play against an Ireland, who can go play against Afghanistan, who can go play against the countries which are aiming to qualify for the T20 World Cup. If there is a successful bio bubble, then why not? We do have so much talent available, and it is finally at the end of it, it is useful for international cricket. Then why not?
Absolutely. Briefly connecting to the IPL, seven Indian players in every IPL team, right? And each of those players makes the team on the basis of their strength, on the basis of their showing. So eight sevens are 56 players available. Now 20 are in England, 20 are in Sri Lanka, like you said. There are 16, 17 more, 20 more. So like you said, India has every opportunity to field a third team.
Absolutely. And Sri Lanka, India, we've had like many memories, right? We played so much cricket against the Sri Lankan team. I mean, there are so many memories. Since in 1990, Sri Lanka has been like a second home for the team, isn't it?
Hmm. So many memories. Let me just recall a number quickly. India and Sri Lanka have played more ODIs than any other team together.
Wow.
159 ODIs between India and Sri Lanka, more than any two nations have played in the history of ODIs. That's how often we've played them. Uh, yeah, I mean, we've had both kinds of memories, really. There was the time when Arjuna Ranatunga, Aravinda De Silva, Sanar Jayasurya, Ramesh Kaluvitana used to butcher the Indian bowler, and you didn't want to watch those games. And there came a time when you had Mahela Jayawardene, Sangakkara, Murli. You enjoyed watching them. Didn't matter if they beat India, but you enjoyed watching them. And now the tables have turned. India thrashing Sri Lanka left, right, and center.
Absolutely. Also, I think one point that I would like to talk about is we don't have that number maybe, and we wouldn't be seeing about it. But after MS Dhoni has come to start, after Dhoni has made his debut for India, Arun, I think we started closing the gap between beating Sri Lanka and Pakistan, both the subcontinent
Hmm.
teams. I think Dhoni somehow figured how to beat these teams as a captain. And that's why, while the number of games that Sri Lanka used to win against us before Dhoni, that has significantly dropped after he's come. And obviously, the situation since 2016 has been different because Sri Lanka have been struggling in the white ball format.
Hmm. Let's talk about the head-to-head, Akhil. We've got the numbers broken up. Look at it overall. It's still 56-91, 91 in favor of India. But let me look at the last 10 years, the last decade.
Interesting.
31 matches. Sri Lanka have won only 6.
Mm.
India have won 24. Look at how the tables have turned. Around the 1996 World Cup, Sri Lanka were literally rolling over
Yeah,
India, right? They gave us nightmares. But look at how the tables have turned now. Six
absolutely.
24, 24 in India's favor. That tells you uh, it's not a reflection of how good India are. India have been good, but it's a reflection of how poor Sri Lanka have been.
Absolutely. They've been really struggling to put up their combinations. Like, they have already been having so much going on with their cricket board, so many captaincy changes. Whatever has been happening has been difficult for us cricket fans to like follow. There's always been such a nice vibe to watch cricket in Sri Lanka. That band always
Yeah,
plays there, and the
yeah,
crowds are always supporting their home team. So there was like a joy to go and beat them there in the Ninandas Trophy when we beat them. You could see the kind of response that we used to get there. So
Hmm.
they've been always happy memories. Uh, what about the Indian squad though? What do you think? I look at it as a great opportunity for most of the Indian players who are there. The One Day World Cup is 2 years away. There is still time for the team management to plan for that.
Before we look at the squad, Akhil, before we talk about that, I want to talk about 2 points here. One, let's quickly talk about the ICC ranking and then look how bad Sri Lanka are. They're ninth in the 10
Wow.
team table, right? We're featuring 10 teams here. They're ninth in the 10 team table. India are fourth, not too far from the top, but that's not reflective of how good or how bad or how mediocre they've been. We'll talk about that. But
Yeah.
Sri Lanka at number 9 is a red flag for me. So yeah, you coming back to Indian squad and what they're doing in Sri Lanka, my eyes are going to be on Rahul Dravid. Uh, I want to see what kind of a message, what he instills in this team. Coaching a India under 19, that setup is different, right? You can afford to lose games. It's about preparing players for international cricket. But with the India team, you
Yeah.
cannot afford to lose. Not to the Sri Lankan team. Not to the Sri Lankan team. So I want to see what kind of like there's got to be a style to every coach, right? Does he go aggressive? Does he tell players to consolidate and go for? So what's the strategy that Rahul Dravid is going to employ? I'm going to keenly watch that.
Hmm. I mean, I think this is more a stopgap arrangement for Dravid, so I don't know if we can like judge too much into what kind of coach he will be with just one series. Similarly
Hmm.
for Shikhar Dhawan, there's not too much. I mean, this is the first time that he's going to be captaining India,
Cap.
so I don't
Yeah.
think you'll be able to judge too much of how the team is going to play. From what we can see, the team has a lot of. We have so many attacking players, Arun. Uh,
Yeah.
Look at it from the top, whether it's a Shikhar or a Prithvi or a Surya, Devdutt Padikkal, I mean Manish Pandey, Hardik Pandya. It's like an option of plethora and a plethora of options of attacking batsmen. So I think
Yeah. Yeah.
they will play the attacking route. It'll be nice to see them try and play like how England does, isn't it? Just go for the attack without worrying about falling of wickets. That will be a
Yeah.
nice approach to just see an Indian team go with that rather than just batting slowly and then tapering up at the end. What do you say?
No. Yeah, sticking with this team, Akhil, I'm just going to throw out 11 that I think will take the field tomorrow. I open with Shikhar Dhawan and Prithvi Shaw,
Hmm.
right? Three could be either a
Yeah.
Surya Kumar Yadav, Manish Pandey, or a Ishan Kishan. There could be 3, 4, 5 in any order, right? Then I'm going the two Pandya brothers,
Yeah.
Hardik Pandya
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Krunal Pandya. So that's 6 and 7. Then I go down to the bowlers, which is Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Deepak Chahar, Navdeep Saini, and a Yuzvendra Chahal. Now, this is the 11 I am expecting will take the field, but with Indian cricket, there's always surprises, and with Rahul Dravid more so new setup, I think there will be 1 or 2 players, missing from the lineup that I just put out.
Yeah, it will be just nice to see India play white ball cricket, isn't it? Feels like it's been so long that we've actually seen the team play white ball cricket. I think that the England series was what we last played, where we beat
Hmm.
them at home. So it just
Hmm.
seems so long ago between the half IPL, then the Test series against England, then one-off Test series with so much of biosecure bubbles that they've been in. So it's been a little distance away. India have not really been doing so great in white ball cricket, 50 overs format, especially Arun. While we won series, it's not like we've been able to dominate oppositions, isn't it? Like last few series that we've played, we've not really gone and beaten everyone 3-0. It's always been close games. So we have, these are the numbers that we have last 5 ODI series. So close series, huh? Last 5 that India has played.
No team has been able to, establish their dominance. Okay, that's the one thing that's missing in
Hmm.
international cricket these days. I mean, it could be good, that teams are competing closely, but you also want to see that one team put their foot down and say, I'm the boss, I'm the leader, come beat me, like the West Indies did, or Australia did, England did a couple of years ago. But yeah, I mean, India are playing decent ODI cricket. They could be better at it. There are a few slots that need to be filled. Uh, the spin attack is a bit of a concern, you've got to admit. After Chahal and Yuzvendra Chahal's stocks have gone down, Kuldeep Yadav, unfortunately, is not the same Kuldeep Yadav of 2 years ago. So the spin stocks are a bit of a worry. India will hope to find some answers in the series.
Spin stocks is definitely a worry. I don't think it is a worry when the full team is available, Arun. I personally think Ravichandran Ashwin can still do a fantastic job in ODI cricket, but that's a story that we'll take up in maybe another episode. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's a great opportunity for Kuldeep and Chahal to re-establish their dominance. I'm most excited to watch Surya Kumar Yadav play. I think this will be a great opportunity for him to bat 50 overs. Will allow him time to build the innings, which he normally won't get, doesn't get the time in the league format of T20. So I think it's a great opportunity. I expect some good knocks from him.
The three players I'm really looking forward to in the series. One is Surya Kumar Yadav. There was a time when I thought he was this brash young player with lots of attitude, not the right kind of attitude.
Yeah.
He was in the news for the wrong reasons at times, but his life has changed. And I'm glad his life has changed and his performances have become better. Talk about India, talk about Ranji Trophy, talk about IPL. He's there among the run. Talk about Vijay Hazare, he's there among the run. So that's one player. I like the fact that he plays with a bit of freeness. There's no pressure. He doesn't feel pressure. Just goes out, plays his style of cricket. The other player I'm looking forward to is Manish Pandey. I think he's been dealt unfairly. Manish Pandey is one of the best timers of the cricket ball, right? He's an outstanding fielder, can field anywhere in the field. So, and he's a finisher. He's done that in international cricket. Yes, admittedly, he's not been consistent, but he deserves a longer run. And I hope he'll get this opportunity and he'll take it with both hands. The third player I'm looking forward to is Hardik Pandya. Hardik Pandya needs to be the all-rounder he was 2-3 years ago. He needs to bat well, which he has not done in the IPL. He needs to bowl well, because that's the vital cog that's missing in the Indian team right now. Be it red ball cricket, white ball cricket, T20 cricket, we need Hardik Pandya to bowl.
We need Hardik Pandya to bowl definitely, especially with the T20 World Cup coming up, because that is more than ODI cricket. I think we need him in T20 World Cups to be bowling those 3 overs, 4 overs. For me, he's a great addition to the T20 format. Bowling wise, he bowls those cutters. He's not afraid to bowl the last overs. Remember the Bangladesh match that we played in. He's unafraid. He's not worried of failing. So he's the kind of bowler that you would like to have in your team. So Hardik, absolutely critical for India's white ball plans. There's no other option who's close by to him. What about the Sri Lankan squad? So much has happened with their team. People have been struggling with the virus. Their assistant coach has been struggling with the virus. The captaincy has changed. Suddenly, the original captain is not available. And what we see is a large number of players, Arun, but no, not really significant names there, right? Like we were used to in the past.
No, if we read through the squad, Sri Lankan squad, Akhil, we spoke about this. Yet again, a 24-member squad. Again, wow, I'm not convinced that 24-member squad for a 3-match or a 6-match series is the way to go about. I've spoken about this in the past, and I honestly don't understand the idea behind it. What are they trying to accomplish? I don't know. But anyway, the bowling attack looks fairly okay in this. You've got Isuru Udana, you've got Lahiru Kumara, Kasun Ranjita, you've got Akila Dhananjaya, you've got Dhananjay Lakshman somewhere there.
Hasaranga.
So one into Hasaranga is a good all-rounder. So you've got a decent bowling attack. It's the batting that worries me. I don't see anybody who can get those big hundreds or who can stamp himself in the middle and say, I will ride this Indian India be attacked,
Yeah.
even if it is, and get 100. I don't think they've got anybody who can do that.
Well, you are right. When we tried to be positive and we tried to watch, I mean, them during the England series, but it was a real struggle. I mean, I understand the conditions in England will be totally different. There should be a little hope for them. Maybe considering Sri Lankan conditions, they know a little better. They might just be able to bat freely on the front foot, and there's not going to be too much pace. Also, I think, except for Navdeep Saini. I don't think there is an express pace bowler that India is carrying. So there might just be a little easier for them to bat on the front foot and just hit through the line. But again, their form in white ball cricket 50 over format has been really, really bad for the last few years now. So I don't think they've won too many series. Also, captains have been changing. Really, really difficult to see this kind of a decline. How do you think they have coped in the last few series that they played around?
We looked at the ratings, Akhil. We looked at the rankings a little while ago, number 9. And why are they at number 9? It's all because of these kind of numbers. Lost to
Wow.
England 0-2. It should have been 0-3 had that third ODI not been washed out. Lost to Bangladesh 1-2. Lost to West Indies 0-3. They beat West Indies at home 3-0, but that was a different team. Then they lost to Pakistan 0-2. So results not in their favor. And I don't see this trend changing also. I think if we come back and look at this graphic, update this table again at the end of the series, there'll be one more lost at the top of it. But if we go back to that table again, look at the column on the right side. The rightmost column there is about the captains, right? I'm going
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Who did we have? We had Dimuth Karunaratne. I think we had Lahiru Tirimana at one point. We had Kusal Pereira now
Kushal
recently, who's
Pereira.
not available now. Yeah. And now who do we have? We've got Dasun Shanaka leading them for this home series. So it's 4 different captains in the last 6 series. I mean, that tells you as much about what the team's going through than anything else. So yeah, very sad state of affairs that they've had 4 captains in 6 series.
Absolutely. Uh, I mean, they are playing at a venue which has slightly been favorable for the team batting first, isn't it? So that might be a good chance for them to win the toss, actually bat first, get a decent total, and hope that under lights the ball does something, starts spinning, starts swinging, and then that I think is a fair chance for them going into tomorrow into the first game.
Uh, uh, we are sitting afar, so we don't know what the conditions on the ground are. But historically, I've just looked at some numbers. Say, I think it's since 2013. Look at all day and night ODIs played at the Premadasa Stadium, right? What's happened is the team batting first has won 12 of the 18 games, and look at the margin by which they won. The average winning margin of the team batting
Wow,
first
it's a
is
huge margin.
119 runs. 119 runs, yeah. So bat first, post big runs on the
And this
board.
is in spite
Uh,
of
yeah,
Yeah, this is in spite of I'm saying bowling second, Dew might be coming on. So in spite of Dew coming on, you're managing to win by 119 runs. That's a huge margin in ODI cricket.
so if somebody is looking at
So
making plans for the first ODI, win the toss, bat first, bowl the opposition out, get to the team hotel in time for dinner.
yeah, I mean that is the ideal situation. And just to make the match and the series more competitive, Arun, I think Sri Lanka should win the toss, give an opportunity for Shikhar Dhawan, Prithvi Shaw, Sky, Surya Kumar Yadav to go and chase under difficult situations. Just make the series and the matches a little more competitive than what they can be. So yeah, that's my hope for the series. India clear favorites. I think both of us will agree on that. So 3-0 or 2-1 for India.
I, I'd sit on the line. I'd say 1-1, and then hopefully Sri Lanka are able to make it 1-1. Though I'm not too sure if that's possible. But if it's 1-1, then India take the series 2-1.
Okay, then 2-1 to 2-1 is what Arun says. I say 3-0 to India. We'll be here back on timeout with Sports Adda. Looking forward to see you again.